The New Level Cap podcast is a show about fun, friends, game design, and all things otherwise. Your hosts are Marco DeSantos and Brad Telton of Level 99 Games. I'm Chris Solis, your producer, and without further ado, please enjoy the show.
Hey everybody! Yeah! Level Cap podcast!
Yeah.
Special guest here.
Hey, yeah.
Because Level Cap podcast is back, everyone. Unfortunately, Brad can't be here right now due to some circumstances, all of which are perfectly healthy and fine. It's just that schedules don't work out sometimes. So it is me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as Mechanic Rick, and with me is a very special guest who many of you may not know yet because this will be her first time to be a guest on the new Level Cap podcast. Everybody say hi to...
Hi, guys. I'm Jackie Florian. I'm working for Level 99 as a brand ambassador, brand manager.
I see. So you're an ambassador for, like, branding.
Yes, correct. Working a little bit in branding and a little bit in licensing, which is a lot of fun because it just means that I have to talk to a lot of people and be social. And yeah, it's so far I've really liked getting along with everybody. So yeah.
Okay, so how many people have you branded with a hot rod?
Well, I am from Las Vegas, born and raised, so quite a few through the years, but not yet with a Level 99 brand. I'm working on it.
I see. Okay, so you have not burned a logo or an icon onto someone's skin before.
I mean, from a technical standpoint, I've on a cow. I have. if we're really talking about it, yes.
So you have done branding.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, that's great. That sounds great, Jack. It seems like you have all the expertise to be able to talk about our topic for today, which is going to be about community management, mostly because you're a very social person yourself and apparently just brand cows. All of these are the qualities of a great community person, right? Would you agree?
I would agree. I'd also think that some cowboy boots and some spurs would also help.
I see. So I'm really now interested in the entire Texas cowboy mythos, whatever. Like,
I said I'm from Vegas, not Texas.
No, but it's fine. Texas and Vegas are the same thing.
No, they are not.
They're not.
No.
Aren't they just both giant deserts?
That is true, but Texas does get more weather than Las Vegas does. Granted, I'm not sure how long they can hold on to that because we got snow for the first time in 10 years, like a month ago. It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that scary? Were all of you scared? Like, what is this white thing? Oh.
So it actually was really funny because all the schools were like, we're not going to cancel school. And then it snowed and, it went away by like 4 a.m. And then the next day school was canceled, even though there was no snow left.
Beautiful. I love it whenever that happens where they cancel and then the weather ends up being fine. It's thank you for this gift.
It was
Thank
fantastic.
you for this gift of... Yes, education has ceased. Down with the system. But for this episode, we're going to be talking about community. But before we head into that, let's grab a few updates from the Level 99 Games crew. Welcome to our small segment of News 99, where I will talk about some updates with Jackie about what's happening at Level 99 Games. For today, we'll talk about a short rundown on what happened during PAX East, because Jackie just came back from PAX East.
I did. Gotta say, it was a wonderful crowd. That's a ginormous show for some of you at home who don't know. It's like 80,000 people. But yeah, we got a chance to give demos of Exceed. We were able to sell the new Street Fighter boxes as well in the playmat, double woven, and it's really nice. For anyone out there that had a demo from me the first day, I apologize. I was taught the game that Thursday. So my first 4 demos were very shaky, but I will say that, it was super easy to pick up. Everyone was having fun. People were very much into, once they learned how to play Ryu or Ken from the new season, they wanted to know about season 2 or they wanted to know about season 1. So it was really nice to see how, into the product everyone was and into the game. And actually, I believe some people from the community from the Discord stopped by and showed their friends how to play. We didn't even have to demo them. They were just like, hey, I brought my friends and I'm going to tell them how to play.
Nice. Jackie, let me test your Exceed knowledge.
Oh no.
Actually, can you spend force in order to move backwards into the corner, even if I'm already in the corner?
I never had a situation where that came up. I don't think so. Why would you do that?
Yes, you can,
Why
Jackie.
would
Yes,
you
you
do
can.
that?
Because you want to have an empty hand, Jackie.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Now that makes sense.
Why would you want to have an empty hand? Because you're Dan, Jackie.
I did not play Dan, or I did not play against Dan. My favorites from season 3 were Chun-Li and Vega. And I also tried a little bit of Cammy. I wanted to see Viper more, but she just didn't gel with my style.
I see.
Obviously, you can tell me listing all the girls. Vega's in there for an obvious reason.
Because Vega's fabulous, okay?
He is. Though I did really like Guile. Sonic Boom is an amazing card.
It is super good.
It is
Giles
so
Kit
nice.
is just a bunch of good cards.
I almost beat Chris, the marketing manager. I almost beat him as Guile, and he was Akuma. So
Chris is a filthy casual. Uses Akuma.
No comment.
True Exceed gamers. Exceed gamers play Dan.
I just got my job, so no comment.
Oh my gosh, Dan's great. It seems like you like a lot of neutral focused characters. Like Chun-Li and Vega are really good neutral characters.
I like being able to play footsies. Realistically, my favorite character that I've played so far in Exceed is from season 2. It's Seijin. She's cool. I really like the mechanics of her a lot.
She's also one of the characters with one of the best neutral games in Exceed season 2. So
well, there you go.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I absolutely love being able to have basically my entire deck in the hand, and I like that balance of of trying not to deck out, essentially. I think that's really fun, because it's a little bit more to keep track of. But the cool thing about the Street Fighter characters in season 3 is I just feel like it's super easy to teach. I think it's really recognizable for the fans out there. And what's great about it is that I could turn around and I could show my friends and I could immediately go, hey, here's how you play this game. And they have now taken a huge interest into it. So now for the past week, my friends have been like, hey, you want to play Exceed with me? And I'm like, we're still doing this? Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, you make it sound like that's such a chore.
Says the playtester guy.
says the playtester guy who probably spent at least 10 hours of his last week playing Exceed.
Well, no, I think the thing is that a lot of my friends are basically trying to face me to beat me. I still have the upper hand because I have just a tiny bit more experience. So that's what that's been. However, to counter that, you've whooped my butt in every other game the past 4 days.
Oh right, because we spent a few hours trying to teach you all the level 99 games. That was a wild journey. I'm sorry indeed. I destroyed you every time.
No, it's okay.
Because there's no mercy here. There's no mercy here, Jackie. Unlike other players.
Are you a brawler?
Yes, I am a brawler. Because unlike other players, Jackie, you have no choice but to keep playing.
That's true.
Because it's your job.
Yes,
but
that is true.
Other players, I'll go easy on them, let them have a good experience. But for you, Jackie, there is no mercy. There is no mercy for you, Jackie. Yeah, this is a gauntlet. This is like our hazing or whatever.
It's the training montage, right?
Yeah, exactly. The training montage. So speaking of getting people into games, and speaking about your friends getting into Exceed, let's talk about communities. Communities are basically the lifeblood of level 99 games. Mostly because we pride ourselves on having such a great community around our games. So, what is a community? Well, in my opinion, a community is essentially a group of people that form around a shared common interest. And for the purposes of this podcast, let's let that interest be board games or gaming in general. Well, what do you feel about communities, Jackie? Are they important to games?
I think community is vital for any sort of media, to be honest. I think that community can make or break your project or your creative vision. And I always think it's good to include people because when you work on something, let's say you're working on something alone, when you don't have any outer input from anyone else, you can kind of miss some of some of the things that would make your product or the experience better. So I definitely think interacting with fans and including them is essential to anything in media.
I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like, a community is really good, but an insular community is bad, right? Like, if you only have 5 people who play your game, that's a community, but I don't think only 5 people's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need a little bit more input, and it's good to get input from not necessarily people who maybe would have picked up your game normally. Like, don't just ask, like, you guys who are super into card games. You should also, like, ask, hey, Mom, what do you think about this? Even though your mom doesn't know what a Pokemon is.
Does your mom know what a Pokemon is?
She thinks they're all called Pikachu, and her favorite is Butterfree.
That's cute. There's a cute game that I found online called Pokemon or Medication. You know that?
Oh, it's you mean the meme, or did you find a game?
No, it's an actual game. So they would.
Oh,
it's like they list down names of Pokemon and names of meds, and you have to choose. You have to pick whether or not it's a medicine or a Pokemon. I really got messed up with like one of them. I forgot, but I got like 90% of it correct. So
I would be really bad at that nowadays because I am definitely like a first, second, third gen Pokemon trainer. And after that, after Entei, I kind of just fall off the cliff.
I see. You're one of them Gen 1ers.
Yeah, I am. I remember getting my Pokemon cards taken away in like first, second grade.
Oh, wow. Did you have that holographic Charizard that everybody wants?
No, but I had a Ninetales that my principal got rid of, and I remember that. I still remember you.
Mr. Jeweliker, I'm gonna come back for you. I'm gonna kill you, Mr. Jeweliker.
Okay, maybe not. I don't want to get arrested yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Whoa, yet. What do you plan to get arrested for?
That's for me to find out. Well, that's for me to know and you to find out.
All right. Wait until Jackie is arrested for eating too much yogurt or something.
Or ice cream.
Can you get arrested for eating too much yogurt?
If you stole the yogurt, probably.
Okay, but that's not eating the yogurt. That's stealing yogurt.
I mean, I think you would cause, like, heart damage or, like, massive weight gain before you were arrested for it.
Okay, that's fair. So when we're talking about communities, I feel like Jackie makes a great point about inclusion. But before we move on to the benefits of having a community and how you can design towards communities, let's talk about what communities can do for you. How does having a community around your game positively affect your game? Jackie, can you give me one good thing that the community can do for your game?
It can see a mistake that you didn't.
All right.
There's more eyes on the project, and I think anytime you have someone who's from a different background or a different place, they can see something that maybe you didn't think about, and so you can look at a mechanic or something a totally different way just based on that feedback.
That's definitely true. It's happened to us before. In BattleCon Devastation of Indians, we playtested a character named Eric, and I was actually leading the playtesting on that character. And what happened was when we released him into the general public, people were like, how is this character balanced and fair and whatever? And apparently Eric is like the most broken character in the entire game. And at the end of the day, we realized that the reason Eric came out that way was because we were playing in this like localized meta where everyone in the group just knew how to play against that character. But when you release it into the wild, nobody understands any of the like super mega high level strats. So everybody just gets crushed by the character and it becomes an atrocious game. So yeah, I definitely understand your perspective. From my perspective, I do think that communities are really important because they allow players to engage with your game even though they're not actually playing the game. This ties a lot into what we were talking about a few episodes ago on the episode 12, I think, called the lifestyle game, where even if you're not playing the game, you're thinking about the game. Games like BattleCon show this a lot, because even if you're not playing BattleCon, what are you doing? You're watching guides made by people for BattleCon. You're discussing with others about BattleCon. You're writing fan fiction for BattleCon or something like that. And that's something that you can only have if you have a community around your game, right? Because if nobody else plays the game, then you won't get that kind of content coming out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've seen it myself just in the short time that I've been around, people, showing off like original characters or doing art. It's actually really nifty to see, something that the team worked very hard on, come to life in a different way.
Definitely true. That goes into my next point where a good community makes the game their own. Brad has this philosophy where the moment you buy the game from him, it's no longer his game, it's yours. So you are free to modify and you're free to experience the game in the manner that makes you feel more engaged and have more fun. So this means that Brad's totally fine with you extending his game, creating custom characters, creating new mechanics, adding variants, and all of this stuff. And that's how you end with stuff like Exceed President's Edition, which is the most wild thing I've ever heard of, but is real.
Oh, my group of friends found that yesterday, and they won't stop.
All right, who's the meta right now? Is Obama top tier?
It's not Obama. It's gosh, I think it's Monroe. It's the one that gets like 60 HP. And they keep fighting over which one they want. Like,
oh my gosh. See, the amount of time and dedication that the fans had to put in to make these kinds of custom characters, one for each president in the United States, apparently.
It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's great. So maybe at some point we'll get a Brad custom and a you custom so that we can have a Jackie custom come in and, I don't know, Jackie custom just talks to people. We don't need a we don't need a Fonch custom because he already has a character in BattleCon, and it's the most broken character in all existence.
Just have me with a megaphone.
Have you with a megaphone. You could be like VG Girl Iris then. Just an alt skin for VG Girl Iris, who literally has a megaphone. That'll be a thing. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that can happen when you have a community, and I barely think there's any negatives to doing so, right? Like, so long as you curate your community positively and have a positive, inclusive, welcoming community, I don't think there's a bad thing that can come out of it.
I agree, especially if you're making sure that it's a safe environment for people and, you're welcoming people with open arms and you're definitely not being judgmental or anything like that. I think people will respond in kind.
A community is about togetherness, and if your philosophy in life involves ostracizing people, then you're not meant to be part of this community because by definition, a community is about bringing people together, not pushing people away,
It's like Christmas, but with card games.
It's like Christmas, except less getting fat.
That too, yes, I agree. I agree with that one.
Definitely true. All right, so we talked about the benefits of a community and how important the community is to your game in order to, increase its longevity and let people engage more with your game. After the break, we're going to talk about how you can design your game and how you can do certain things to promote a community forming around your game. So, Jackie, give us a cool outro so that we can go to the break.
A cool outro? Oh, no. Welcome to the Slam Jam. You put me on the spot, man. I don't know what to do.
All right. Okay, that's the break. Go. Do you love Exceed? Do you want to talk to other Exceed-loving individuals? Well, join the official Exceed Facebook group to stay updated on the latest news and discussions. Link can be found in the description below. Come on and slam, and welcome from Japan.
You're not in Japan.
This isn't Japan. But this is the Level Gap Podcast, where we talk about more about communities and all things otherwise. Again, I'm your host, Mark DeSantos, also known as Mechanic Rick, and with me is...
Hajimemashite, watashi wa Jackie desu. Yoroshiku onegai no.
Weebs.
You're the one who said we were in Japan.
I'm not the one who started talking in Japanese.
Yeah, well, I was going with the joke. I was trying to pair with you, man.
All right. We're jiving, Jackie. We're jiving. It's fine. Welcome back from the break. So before that, we talked about the benefits of a community, but how, Jackie, however do we make this community happen? Do I plant community seeds in the ground and water them with my blood, sweat, and tears for there to be a community tree that pops up?
I mean, if you want to say it figuratively in a way, that's not wrong. But you need to appeal to an audience. So I mean, you want to make sure that you're designing for your community in mind. In the design phase, you should have your community in mind. So you want to make sure that there's a lower barrier to entry, which essentially means that not only can you teach your friends who have been playing video games for 20 years, but you can teach your friends who have maybe never touched a controller. Or you can teach your mom. And if you can teach your mom anything, you got a low barrier to entry, just saying.
Oh, come on, man. Stop it with this, like, ageist stuff. Shirley
My-
Curry is
my-
the best.
My mom still cannot program a VCR, okay? I still need to do it for her.
Rip. Okay, number one, your mom still uses VCRs. That's the wrong thing here. Should have
Indeed.
moved over to DVDs.
Hey man, she just got an iPhone. It's a big deal for her. She learned how to text like a year ago. It's a new world.
Yeah, my parents tend to be the same way. They can't play video games and all this stuff. So how do you design for this in mind? How do you design for a low barrier to entry? And how do you get people to play your game? Because again, community is made around the game if a game is easily accessible and easy to play. The harder it is for people to get more games of your game in, the less likely they're gonna love it, right? The less likely they're gonna engage, the less likely they're gonna play it more. And it might just end up being a game that you play once and keep on your shelf forever. And that's not how you form a community around a game, right?
Correct. I mean, there's a lot of games where, the setup might take hours and people don't want to wait for that. So, something that you can just kind of whip out and be like, hey, we're ready to play. Just pick a fighter and just go. Exceed is a great example for this, I think.
Exceed.
Excellent. It's
Yum.
it's almost Easter. I've got eggs on the brain. But yeah, I think Exceed is a great example because I can point to any pack that I have and I can go, hey, what character do you want to play? And you can start prepping for the game. You can start getting to a point where you're drawing cards and you're shuffling, and I think that makes it easier for people to approach it.
Yeah, so short play times, easy setup, easy teardown, right? That's a great way to get people playing your game more. And the more they get to play it, again, the more they get to engage. I think another important point to this is talking about variable player count setups. So it's one thing to get people around to play the game in a short time session. It's another entire point to actually get people around. You know what I mean? Like, if a game requires 10 players, then that game's basically never gonna get played unless you have 10 friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be really difficult because as people get older, they get schedules, and it's really hard to get 10 people to have the same schedule.
I believe that variable setups or player counts is a very good way to get this happening because the inverse problem's also true. There are friend groups who have at least 4 people all the time. And if your game's designed only for 2 players, they're not playing that either. So the more flexible your starting setup is, whether the game can be played as 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, 2v2, 2v1, 3v1, that's much better. The poster child for this, of course, in the Level 99 Games library is Millennium Blades, which has up to 6 players, can play 3v3, 2v2, 2v1, 2v2v2, 2v3, whatever, right? It can get really, really insane. And when it comes to that, it even has 3v game. So you can just play co-op against the boss from the game itself. So all of this comes together to make Millennium Blades an easy game to get a certain amount of people for, because any number of people is the correct number of people, you know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. I remember when I used to live with my roommate, sometimes it would just be just the 2 of us, and I'd have a lot of games that were 3-player and up only that we just could never play.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. It is real sad.
All right. Jackie, do you have any other points that you want to say about this? Like, how else can we design for a community around your games?
I think it's really important that the games are simple enough to get into, as I said, the lower barrier to entry. But once you get into it, you can start mastering strategies and working with the community to develop those strategies.
Yes. So I believe that's a good point that you've made right there. There's a philosophy that Brad also talks about where gameplay is the gap between your understanding and your mastery. If you know how to play the game, but you don't know how to play the game at 100% peak efficiency, going from point A to point B is the life of the game. And the more you can make people like want to grind to the end of it, the more likely a community is to form around it. The complete antithesis of this is a game like Tic-Tac-Toe. Tic-Tac-Toe is a game that's super easy to get into, but there's no mastery. It's Tic-Tac-Toe. like there is nothing to master here. It's Tic-Tac-Toe, right?
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
The probable ideal is a game like chess, right? Where the rules are pretty easy to lay out. These are the pieces, these are what they do. But when it comes to like mastering chess, that's a lifetime endeavor, right?
Yes, it takes years.
If not decades, right?
Intense training to be the chess master.
To be the chess master, exactly. So I think all of our games try to embody this very well, where it's easy to get into, but really hard to master. Of course, every game has different barriers to entry. Exceed compared to BattleCon is a very different barrier to entry, as Jackie will probably attest.
Well, I will say, I feel like learning Exceed and then going to BattleCon is fantastic as a stepping stone, to be quite honest with you. It feels very natural. At least it did to me.
This was all part of the plan. Exceed was actually just made to get people into BattleCon.
It's a trap! I've laid down my trap card.
Yes, we've laid down the trap and you've been ensnared in it, in your love for level 99 games. But I feel like ultimately all of these pale in comparison to my last point, which is that you must design for inclusion. This is a freebie. Level 99 games are actually designed with inclusion in mind, and it's pretty interesting when you think about it. Jackie, have you ever noticed why cards in Exceed or in BattleCon have those logos or those symbols on them?
I imagine it's for someone who's colorblind, would be the first thing that would come to mind.
There you go. Exactly. Those logos and symbols don't exist for any other reason than to help colorblind people more easily identify the cards because, again, they can't rely on the colors. Oh, isn't that wonderful, right? So I think making your game such that anyone can play it, regardless of their age, their background, or their, physical, mental disabilities, is a great way to get a community happening. Because by actively choosing to not make your game inclusive, you're actively just saying, hey, this subsect of people that exist in the world can't play my game. And that's just shooting yourself in the foot, right?
Certainly. And I mean, there's plenty of resources out there and research you can do on such things in case you're curious about it for your own project or your own game.
Yeah, indeed. So, Jackie, I know this isn't necessarily your wheelhouse, talking about design and talking about mechanics, so I'll let you have your time in the limelight with your specialty. These are the ways that we can make communities happen by designing the game around it. But there's a lot of work that goes into forming communities that doesn't involve designing your game to begin with. So what are the ways that you can form a community outside of designing your game? Jackie, go.
There's a reason we have you around, right? Because, you work with the communities. So I'm sure, a lot of the fans out there have seen Marco on all the social media, Discord, Facebook, everything, right? I'm sure you keep up to date with that.
Maybe. How are you sure that that's me and not just a secret evil clone that I keep in my basement, locked and tied up?
Well, I thought I could trust you, but you're making me doubt.
Well, you'll never know my hidden desires.
I just see you putting your pinky to your mouth and twisting it like Dr. Evil.
Like Dr. $1 billion.
But yes, it's good to reach out to your community in both in online ways, whether it's social media, whether it's something like Discord, because they can be there to kind of support you in a way, and you can support each other. You can get their input, you can see what they're talking about, you can see what strategies they're talking about. So like we talked about mastery, so you'll see them talk about that. They might create original characters, they might give you feedback, and not only that, when you or your team are too busy, they might be able to answer questions that you just can't get to. So one thing I found about the Level 99 Discord community is that I came in as a little nooblet and I was like, how do I do this thing? And I would get 6 answers and they would all be consistent with each other, but it was really cool that I would get the explanation in 6 different ways to ensure that I understood what the answer was.
That's like one of the strongest points of our community, I feel, and something I'm personally proud of, because a lot of these people are, a lot of the people who are probably giving you answers were at one point in their lives the same nooblet who came in and just asked a question, you know?
Yeah, totally, because it can be intimidating for someone who is brand new to a game to enter a community and then start asking questions that they might figure are stupid questions, but then to get met with really positive responses is really encouraging and strengthens the bond of the community.
Yes, it strengthens your friendship if you really
Yes,
think about it.
all about friendship.
Yes, the power of friendship. Yes, the power of friendship is the only way we will be able to defeat the Dark Lord.
Who's the Dark Lord?
Is it Chris?
Is it Brad?
Oh no.
Brad's I call him the overlord of level 99 games, so does that imply that he's a villain? Has Brad been the villain this whole time?
Does he have a boss in Millennium Blades? I feel like that needs to be a thing now.
Yes, we need to no, he has a card in Millennium Blades, but it's not a boss.
Oh man, he needs a boss card.
Brad himself, that's the name of the boss. His ability is that if you beat him, he will ban you from playing his games. How about that?
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Okay, no, so yeah, definitely true. It's definitely important to have a welcoming community that, isn't shy to help new players. And I feel like this is a pitfall of a lot of a lot of our big communities are BattleCon and Exceed, which are based on fighting games, right? And fighting game communities tend to be the most hard to penetrate into, mostly because they're usually populated by people who get mad at new players for being bad, or call people noob, or call people bad, or call people like, how can you be so dumb to think this and that? I feel like sometimes the fighting game community, though great as it is, can be a little bit hostile to outsiders, you know what I mean?
Yes, I completely understand.
Exactly. But I feel like Level 99 games as games don't have this. It's a very, very welcoming community. And even like our most, let's just say, combative people are like nothing compared to some of the most combative members of any other community. Like,
yeah, I noticed that within the first 2 to 3 days that I was just kind of observing, actually. No,
yeah.
like legit. I was really surprised because there are so many communities that exist online, particularly in the video game space, that are just like, why are you yelling at me? I just said hi.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, but that's why our community is a huge point of pride for Level 99 games. And to all the community members listening out there, this one's for you. This episode's for you. Jackie and I. It interchanges, okay?
It's okay. So if anybody out there is curious, I do have a online name that is Kana Shimmy. Some of you might know it out there, but my real name's Jackie. So hi.
Yeah. So like Jackie and I came here, and it's all for you. So this goes out to everyone out there. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. And after all. So Jackie, any other ways that we can do community stuff? So there's engaging people through Discord. There's engaging people online. How about like something else, non-digital? This is outside of my sphere of influence anymore because I live in backwater Asia. So
Well,
it's really hard to get into like the local physical scene.
Yeah,
So
totally. And it depends where you're located to and exactly what sort of project you're working on, but you can reach out to your local community. And what I mean by that is like, are there any conventions that are nearby where you can maybe demo your game, or you can see if that community is interested in your project? Or maybe you can touch base with some comic stores or video game stores, see if they'll even carry your product, see if you can make connections with them, because connections are valuable. And it's a great way to see how people react in real time to what it is you're making. If you do a demo day at a store, for example, and you have some people come in and maybe they usually wouldn't play that type of game, but you get to hear a bunch of feedback that's just from different people. And not only that, because you're focusing on a local community, it really helps with that scene. Because there's kind of a strength to be able to say, hey, we're throwing a picnic. I don't know. And we would like all of our fans to come to our picnic. It's going to be located here. And that makes the people who are closest to you kind of feel special, and they feel a little bit more in touch with what you're doing, and they feel more involved. And I think that's really important, to touch base to local game stores, conventions, maybe even throw events of your own. And they don't have to be big, wild events like you rented out, I don't know, like a museum or something. Don't do that, particularly if you're small.
Rent the Museum of Natural History and make your entire game about dinosaur bones.
Yeah, I mean, you can do fun events like that. You can totally do that, and it depends, how strong that community is for maybe video games or card games or whatever. But you should never ignore your local community, because they can provide so much value. You can find people who might want to work for you, who might have valuable talents and skills.
Is that what happened to you, Jackie?
No, because I don't live in Albuquerque.
Oh, I thought you secretly lived in Albuquerque.
I did.
Even though you explicitly said that you lived in Las Vegas. Like,
yeah,
how far is Albuquerque from Las Vegas? I have no idea.
we're on the same. We're pretty close together. So
okay, so in America, that's a lie. When you say pretty close together, how many days of travel do I have to do by car?
I've never been to New Mexico. Let's see. The closest I can say I've been in a car is to Tucson, Arizona, and that was like 16 hours on a bus. So,
not near then. You liar, filthy, disgusting
We're on like
liar.
the same side of the U.S.
That's still so far. If I wanted to go to some other island in the Philippines, it would take me like 5 hours at most. Come on, man.
Now I want to Google Maps this. Now you're making me Google Maps.
All right, Google Maps, podcast edition.
Yeah, podcast edition. Google Maps, how far am I? And will my internet be fast enough to tell me?
Oh no, this is that Las Vegas internet. People are using it too much on tiger shows.
Yes, on tiger shows. That's what we use our internet for.
That's all I know about Las Vegas. Is that Siegfried and Roy used to do shows there. That's all I know about.
That's
and
it?
Gambling.
Yeah, so you can actually find slot machines in our airports. You can find them in CVS's and Walmart's. Well, not Walmart's, but you can find them in stores like that. So just in case you're curious.
That's great. I don't think I could ever gamble. I've played one too many mobile gacha games for this.
I understand completely. Okay, so if we're gonna do, it is 606 miles, it says.
606 miles?
Why does it have me walking? It's gonna take me 200 hours to walk there. Okay.
10 days. Okay. Okay, Con.
It's 8.5 hours, so there's a state in between us. So I'm in Nevada, then it's Arizona, then it's New Mexico.
Okay, so it's probably gonna take like around a day's travel. That's still pretty
Correct.
far in my opinion. That's still pretty far.
All
right.
Yeah, I will agree with you.
Yeah. You can't disagree with me. Okay, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm not a geography major.
But I thought we were supposed to blame you.
It's always Marco's fault, isn't it?
That's the first thing I was taught. That's the first thing you taught me.
Yeah, that's true. Listeners of the podcast will know it's Marco's fault is a t-shirt we plan to make at some point in the future. Tell us if you would like that t-shirt. So, as much as I would love to keep chatting about community, especially as the community manager, I love you guys. I love you guys. I have to end this episode of the podcast because my officially union-mandated 30 minutes of podcast are over, and I have the life to live. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Level Cap podcast. I'm really, really glad that we were able to bring Jackie on so that we can have a really cool conversation, so that we can introduce Jackie to all of you as well. This serves as a really good introduction to her, and hopefully all of you enjoy interacting with her at some point in the future. I'm not sure if Jackie's job is to do that, but I'm pretty sure she'll be cool with it.
I totally will. Please feel free to reach out and say hi, and thank you so much for welcoming me into your community. I really do appreciate it, and it's made me feel at ease. So thank you.
All right, that's great, and we're glad to have you on, Jackie. So, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the New Level Cap podcast. If you liked it, give us a like, and give us a comment in the section down below, and of course, share it with a friend. And if you absolutely hated this podcast, share it with an enemy so that they too may suffer. Without much else to say, it has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as Mechanic Rick, and with me is my amazing, awesome, special guest co-host,
Jackie Florian.
Jackie Florian sounds like a wrestling name. You could be a wrestler.
It's funny. I'll make this even more complicated. I have two last names. My other last name is Payne.
Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious.
The world shall know pain.
One
Insert
day.
Naruto reference here. All right, so thank you so much for listening. And as usual, don't forget your special action. And thank you, World of Indians. Thank you, and good night.
The new Level Cap podcast is produced by Level 99 Games. Join us next Wednesday for more design talk and shenanigans. Thank you for listening.